here with Jeffrey Stambor, and we're celebrating Beaulieu Vineyard's wines. So tell us a little bit about the history of Beaulieu Vineyard.
Yeah. That's one of the really interesting things about Beaulieu is it has such a rich tradition and history. It was founded by a Frenchman named Georges Latour in 1900. Was one of a handful of wineries that stayed open during Prohibition, selling Sacramento wines. In fact, the winery quadrupled in size during that time period. But then his original vision, which he was able to really attack in the 30s, was producing varietal wines of distinction. And so that's always been the vision at Beaulieu, is to make these world-class wines of distinction.
Now, you're the director of winemaking. Can we talk a little bit about your history there and how you kind of got to that level to be the director?
Sure. It's a pretty fanciful title. So I am the first generation winemaker in my family. I came from the solid Midwest, but left, in response to terrible weather. That's right. Went to California initially to study something different. Was exposed to the possibilities of wines, and my academic background is in plant science, so more from an agricultural perspective. But really my work experience has all been working in wineries. And I spent several years working in France early on, and then kind of mid-career I spent 2 years working in Argentina as well. So I have a pretty good background internationally as well. I've been at Beaulieu for 26 years. And have kind of come up through the ranks, and so I understand all the phases of winemaking to where today I'm responsible for all of the wines that we make at Beaulieu, but really focused in on our flagship wine, the Georges Latour.
Besides Napa Valley, where can people find your wine?
Hopefully, across the United States. But we do sell all of our wines domestically. So if you have a wine shop that you go to and it's not there, tell them to bring it in for you.
Yeah, they should. I mean, I've been around the country, even here in Utah, and I see the wine everywhere. It's a very familiar wine, and I think everybody should be very familiar with that. So we have a tasting that we're going to do here. And so if you can tell us a little bit about the wine that we're going to taste and so on.
So this is the 2010 Georges Latour. And one of the things that is going to ensure the continued quality of this wine is in 2008, we actually took a barrel warehouse at the winery and gutted it and converted it into a state-of-the-art standalone winery dedicated just for the production of this wine. So now it's a boutique winery within the main structure of the winery. And so it's really given me the ability to ensure the continued success. I mean, we've enjoyed great success historically, but what's really important is to continue that.
What's very unique?
So very gentle handling of the fruit in the new winery. None of the fruit actually sees a pump. It just has given me all of the resources that I need to dedicate the ruthless attention to detail that goes into making a wine like this.
It sounds like because of that, you can be very hands-on.
Yeah. This particular vintage, 2010, was on the cooler side as far as Napa Valley goes. So I think that the wines have a little more fleshy elegance to them. This particular wine is about 93% Cabernet Sauvignon, 4% Malbec, and 3% Petit Verdot, and all from estate vineyards that were originally planted in the early 1900s.
That's great. You know what? Nowadays, I'm a really fan of the blends out there.
So that kind of the immediate aromatic impact I get is a very dark fruit generated. There is the aromatics that you'd associate with French oak barrels. So there's a toasty mocha, yeah, and a little bit of vanilla.
So I told this joke with somebody. If you hold held up the wine glass. It actually was yourself that told me this joke. You don't say legs, but you call it an ankle. Right?
No.
You call it. Those are very nice ankles to impress the ladies, right?
The thing that really, to me, differentiates good wines from great wines, it's not so much the aromatic appeal, it's the texture. It's the texture and it's the length of the finish.
Can you go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, so it's the combination of the way the tannins and the acidity and the alcohol impact your palate. And so it's been probably now 60 seconds since I took a sip of wine and swallowed it. And that lingering impression is across my palate, very pleasurable, and I can still taste some of that fruit character. So that's what really, to me, that the longevity, the length of the finish, and the textural complexity and completeness of it is what.
Very smooth wine. I'm sure the whole collection is wonderful. You know, I really appreciate the interview here. Go to your local store there, grab yourself a wonderful wine and enjoy it tonight.
Thanks, Mike. Cheers.
Cheers.